everybody. Today we're going to talk about great Enermix IoT case. But before going into that, let's look a bit deeper the connectivity behind the Enermix solution. Probably everybody of you guys know the IoT value chain. What we like to talk more is the logical value chain. It describes how the data flows from the object and thing all the way to the actual application. It displays all the technical components in between and also the ecosystem players on top of that. On DNA, we have chosen to build our IoT solution on top of our mobile network. And the great benefit of that is that it reduces the complexity a lot. Both the technology complexity as well as also the partner management complexity. Other great benefit of using mobile network in IoT solutions is that the mobile network actually is the only network that can cater for both IoT needs. The remote operation, machine operations and e-healthcare of the critical IoT solutions, as well as the smart meterings, dustbin meterings, etc., of the massive IoT. Current networks support already really well both needs, but we are going to see a lot of improvement in both areas. While the 5G is going to bring really the real time into the IoT, it will happen in a few years. It will be a massive step compared to the massive IoT side, where it's more of an evolution than revolution. And there we are talking about NB-IoT, or narrowband IoT, which is evolution of 4G LTE. And what the NB-IoT is doing, or is going to do, is that it brings mobile network on par and even beyond the LP1 solutions at the moment. And the benefits of the NB-IoT really are, what they are, is that the module costs will go really down through the simplicity of the technological solution, down to the few euros per modules. The power consumption will go low as well. Up to 10 years of battery lives will be provided. The range, we're going to get deeper indoor coverage and broader outdoor coverage with the approximately 20 dB increase of that. And then finally, we're going to see a lot of more large-scale solutions because one NB-IoT cell can actually serve up to 100,000 or even more things per cell. And with that bombshell, I would like to give it to Janne.
Okay, thank you, Tapio. And good morning from my side as well. It's really a pleasure to be here and tell you about our Talotohtori service. And what is Talotohtori? Talotohtori is a building management system, but it's not really a kind of traditional system that probably many of you have seen or used. Here we have a lot of buildings in the picture, and we can see a lot of brands, a lot of manufacturers who offer us building automation systems in these buildings, and these players has been there for decades. And all of them, naturally, they have their own cloud services nowadays, and you can do whatever you imagine with those systems. And in addition, you can see some other brands here. You can see actually in the lower row here, these are brands from the heat pump manufacturers. Why they are here in this picture? They are here because Talotohtori is a cloud service which can connect all these devices, all these systems to one cloud service. And we are using DNA connectivity here, like Tapio mentioned, there is this narrowband IoT coming on the market near future. We are working very closely with DNA, developing this. But as we speak, we already have a very good, highly secured connectivity using the existing 4G networks by using machine-to-machine closed APN network solution from DNA. So what we offer with Talotohtori, we offer one service for everyone. Instead of using different cloud services from different vendors and doing the same thing in many different ways. If you think, for example, very simple thing in building management. Time to time, you need to adjust the heating curve. If you want to change the behavior, what is the inside temperature, you need to adjust the heating curve. And if you are a building owner, you have many buildings. There is many different ways of doing this very simple task. But if you connect all of them to our service, then the service guy, he can actually do this very simple task from our service, even without going on site. He don't have to anymore learn and understand 10, 15 different ways of doing the same thing. He can just do it with one way in the future. So we kind of hide this complexity that different vendors are having in this kind of setup and system. So this is kind of first step what we can offer. And in fact, I could say that we have two types of customers and two reasons or two motivations to use our service. One is such a customer group that has been working with these guys for years, maybe decades, and they still don't feel very comfortable that are those buildings running optimally, is the energy consumption optimally managed. There could be an example that in meeting room there is a heating system from one supplier, then there is a air cooling system from another supplier in the same building. And they don't really discuss with each other. So what could happen very easily, that in the meeting room there is a heating system heating the room, and at the same time the cooling system is cooling the room, because there are two different systems, two different thermostats. There are a lot of these kind of examples that the buildings are not running optimally. So our customers want to take this kind of solution, which is, by the way, very cost effective as well. So it's not too expensive to connect these sites and start to operate them. It's very typical that our service cost is much more lower than doing the same thing with the existing system. Another one, which is actually probably more interesting today here, because we are in the IoT topic here, so we have a very comprehensive set of services on top of this kind of one common Talotohtori platform. And these are, we could say, these are IoT services, different kind of them. And if customer has Talotohtori, what they use, they can take, for example, these kind of services very easily and activate them in all of those buildings they have. So they don't have to implement these fancy IoT features individually to each building. Instead, they do it once in our cloud service, and then we just take it in use in all buildings. So that's a huge cost-effective approach comparing to doing it on the building by building itself. And in top of this, so we are basically offering these services. We have been developing these services now for 6-7 years, and they are well working, and it's easy to use, it's easy to buy, it's easy to operate. But in addition to that, we are also very open with any kind of IoT company. So if somebody has something invented which is not listed here, and there are a lot of those things in coming, and all the time coming more and more. So there are startup companies, there are many different players in the world developing new fancy things. And we are opening our platform with the API interfaces. So if you have some nice solution and you think that building owners would like to use it, please contact us and we integrate it to Talotohtori. And in that way, we ensure that the customer can still remain with the one service. If you think about IoT in a little bit bigger picture, Ericsson has predicted that in next 15 years, there will be 50 billion devices connected to network, to internet. 50 billion. And if we think about how many cloud services there will be in 15 years in the market, I don't know, 100,000, 1 million or something like that. So then really the big question for me is that how the building owners are able to cope with all these kind of possibilities. And that's why we think that the best way for the building owner is that use one cloud service for all, instead of playing with many different services. We have to make these things easy to use to customer, to end user. That needs to be in the mind of everyone. It cannot be difficult to take in use. It's very complex. People don't use it. There has to be a motivation and added value, everybody in the chain. Okay. Like I said, we have two types of reasons why people want to use, our customers want to use this service. One was this checking that is their existing building working properly as expected? And the other one was if they want to use IoT services in use. I have now a couple of customer case demonstrations here from both of these two areas. And they are both actually related to this indoor air quality type of thing. It's a one service we have. It's a very simple service. In fact, you just need to put this kind of little thing in your room or whatever place you want to put it, and it will start gathering data and push it to the cloud in our Talotohtori service, and then the system will automatically tell you are the things okay or not. You don't have to go there and watch them yourself. You don't have to daily basis do something. The system will take care of everything, and it will let you know if something is wrong. Then you need to, of course, react. So first customer case is in Tampere, a church in Kaleva area. And in fact, what we have done here is that we have delivered a few of these kind of units there to monitor the church indoor air quality. And also, we put one in very close of the organ to follow that how the conditions are there. There is a small video. Let's look at it just less than a minute. Okay, so basically it's very simple, as you can see. It can't be very complex, so we have made it very easy for customer to do these things. They can install themselves if they want. And what this sensor is doing in this particular case, it is monitoring the humidity level and the temperature of this area, surrounding area of the organ. And why they want to do this? They want to put all these in the old churches they have and all organs, just to make sure that the organs will not be out of use because of the bad environment. So moisture or high humidity and changes of humidity or temperature is not very good for this kind of instrument. So the other case I have here is K-Market, also in Tampere. And here the customer motivation was to check, is the heating system adjusted as it should be. Kesko has a rule that there should be a certain temperature in each of their buildings. It should not be any higher than what is the norm. So they put these kind of sensors in different places of the K-Market, and they are using our cloud service to simply see what is the temperature. It's not that more complex. And here we can see when they started this monitoring, immediately, within few hours, they could realize that the temperature is not what it should have been. So the person who is concerned about this, he was told that it's okay. You don't have to worry about it. But when he put this our sensor, he noticed that the temperature is not what it should be. It's higher. So it was adjusted in a couple of days into the level that the standard is saying, and now it's fine. And now the sensor will continue to follow that the things will not change back to the old days or higher back and so forth. So as you know, if the inside temperature is, if you lower the inside temperature by 1 degree, you will save approximately 5% of your heating bill. That's a common rule. So in this case, couple of degrees lower temperature means roughly 10% of savings in energy. And what this means in practice, it means that our service cost, what is our monthly cost for offering this service, it's 20 times smaller than the savings in the energy bill. So it's very obvious that customer wants these kind of technologies. They can save much more than they spend for getting this kind of accuracy and kind of continuous proof that the system and the building is working as it should be. Okay, thank you for this part, and I will hand it over back to Tapio.
Thank you, Janne. Just to quickly wrap up what we have discussed. So a few takeaways. Keep your ecosystem simple. When you design your IoT solutions, for example, how the Enermix has done their solution, they have gathered all the players together and they will manage it. So keep your ecosystem simple, both technology-wise as well as partner management-wise. And the other one, choose the connectivity so it suits your current business models, but so that it will suit also your probable or possible future business needs. And please come and check Talotohtori solution live demo at DNA booth right after this one. Thank you very much.